Hello, Project Autism family. Welcome. Welcome to Photography 101. My name is Pritpal Padam, and I'm super excited to be here and to walk you all through my passion of photography. Now, in this entry-level session, we're gonna take a look at some of the tools, some of the processes, some of the tips that professional photographers use to get the most important moments, which are capturing the everyday. It could be capturing your family life events, capturing like weddings, vacations. It could be a whole gamut of things. And we're gonna take a look at that in a little moment. Before we get started, let's learn about why I got into photography. Well, you see, the thing is, when I was much younger, I loved drawing. I loved drawing comic book characters. I loved art. Loved to paint, loved to take pictures. I just loved anything related to art. And as I got older, I started to realize that there was a real passion for photography. And I noticed that when my sister was getting married, I bought a camera and I started taking pictures at the wedding. And those pictures, I actually felt they were slightly better than what the photographer did. And this is a professional photographer. So that kind of gave me the confidence to learn more. And I actually did go and I studied to learn more about photography, to learn about, the different principles and methodology behind photography. But most importantly, I took the courage, the leap of faith to start my own photography business. And it was great. It was fantastic because, you get to go out there, you get to be creative, you get to share your creative flair, your spark. And most importantly, you have fun. You also get paid, which is really important for, sustaining yourselves on an everyday basis. But the part that really captured my heart, the part that made me really happy was seeing my clients, expression when I would show them the photos. They'd be so happy. They're always wondering, how did you capture that image? How did you get, the kids smiling or the dog posed in the perfect position? And this is what I'm about to show you. I want you to know that anyone can do photography. Anyone. It doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter what camera you're using, and we'll take a look at cameras in a moment. But I want you to know that photography is holistic. It is for everyone. Everyone can take advantage of what photography is, and you can share in that passion as well. One more thing I want to mention. In this session, it's going to be interactive. So in a bit, there's going to be some questions that are going to pop up on the screen. I want you to answer those questions. Just ask yourself, based on everything that you're learning, what do you think will be the right answer? So let's get started. And the answer is, anything can inspire your photos. To be totally honest with you, what inspired my photos was my family. So I encourage you, take photos of your family, take photos of your friends, take photos of anything around you. Now, you can do many different types of photography. You can do product shots where you can take pictures of, cereal boxes, pasta bowls, cars. You can do wedding photography where you can take pictures of people's weddings, engagement photos. You can do model photography. You can even just do photography for your own purposes, which is what I do now as well. Like, I don't really do many paid jobs anymore. Why? Because I actually prefer photography now as just my hobby of, just taking pictures whenever I want to. Will I do paid jobs? Yeah, maybe. It depends on how busy I am, or depends on, what is the job itself offering, in the sense that, how creative is it going to allow me to be? But you can do all kinds of photography. And keep in mind, photography is something that I take with me on an everyday basis. Because remember, I have my smartphone with me all the time. So wherever I go, I can always take photos. So you can choose whichever kind of photography you want to do, whether it's stock photography, wedding photography, taking pictures at a Project Autism event. Those are all kinds of different, types of photography that you can do. Now, photography is all about capturing the moment. Capturing the moment can be in so many different ways. You can capture the moment by a tool. That tool is a camera. Now the camera can be any kind. So we're gonna take a look at a few different cameras right now because I want you to know that you don't need a professional camera. You don't need the best of the best. You can capture these, the most precious moments with anything. In fact, right now I have this. It's a point and shoot. And a point and shoot camera is perfect. This is what a lot of people use to kind of get started. And this is one of the cameras I used when I was getting started. And it's great. In fact, it's waterproof. So I could go into the lakes, the oceans, and, especially when you're on a beach destination, you can take this with you and capture those really great moments. But the other cool thing about this is it's got a viewfinder or a screen on the back where you can actually see what's happening in the image itself. So camera, it doesn't matter which one, you can use a point and shoot. In fact, as I started to progress in my career, I ended up getting one of these. This is called a DSLR. DSLR stands for Digital Single Lens Reflective. I know, it's a big name, don't worry too much about it. But a DSLR is this is actually an entry-level DSLR, but this allows you to get into the world of, professional photography. And if not professional photography, this allows you to take some really good family pictures, vacation photos, and so on. But the really cool thing about this is, so right now I've got the camera right here. I'm just gonna take off the lens. So the lens just twists off. But the really cool thing about this, everyone, is that a DSLR has a mirror on the inside. Do you see that right there? So let me come in a little bit closer. So a mirror allows you to take the picture in all kinds of conditions. But the really cool thing about this is if you want better photos with this camera, you just need to get a better lens. Interesting. DSLRs allow you to put different lenses. So for example, I've got this lens right here. It's massive, eh? This is called a macro lens. This allows you to take very close pictures of rings, sand, where you can see all the little grains of sand. A macro lens allows you to go in really, really tight and close. But then I've got another one here. Sorry, I'm getting a little too close to the camera. But I've got another lens here where this lens is a wide angle. It allows you to see the whole image itself in a really wide setting. And then the last lens I have here, oh my God, this one's really heavy. Look at this lens, it's massive. This is a zoom lens. This allows you to zoom really close. It allows you to get really, really close. But none of that matters, and I'll tell you why. The biggest thing is, with photography, it doesn't matter which tool you use. It's all about getting your creative spirit out. So if you want to use that type of DSLR, or if you want to use one of these DSLRs, this is an even bigger one, you can do that. Or nowadays, even for myself, I'm actually using an iPhone or a tablet, because the tablet's got a great camera. It doesn't have to be anything too crazy. In fact, right now I'm recording this video on my iPhone. And my iPhone is perfect for photography. In fact, we're gonna do this entire session with my iPhone. Why? Well, let me show you. Okay, so this is my DSLR. Now with the DSLR, these are really expensive. They're really pricey, and to be totally honest with you, the way the technology is going nowadays, you don't need one of these. You could just use an iPad or a point and shoot, or better yet, you could just use your smartphone. And the answer is yes, you can take the picture whichever way you see fit. So to get things started, we've got our Captain America model. I don't really like his angry look there. Let me change it to, you know what? Happy look is good. So what we're gonna do right now, we've spoken about the camera, we've spoken about, you know, you don't really need a high-end camera to do photography. You can use any kind of camera. But right now I've got, you know, I've got my model who's Captain America. And what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna learn a little bit about the different types of background, midground, and foreground. So if you can see where my hand is, right here is the foreground. So anything right about here is the foreground. That's essentially, when you're taking a picture, we've got our foreground item. So if I was to move Captain America right here, he's now in the foreground. If I move Captain America right here, he's now in the midground. If I move Captain America further back, he's now in the background. So whenever we take our photos, we want to make sure that our subject or model is in the midground. Why? Because we can have a lot of fun with this. We can add other objects in the background. For example, I just added a stormtrooper in the background. But going back to Captain America, I've got him in the midground. So there's the midground. I've got my stormtrooper in the background. And then I can add Spider-Man in the foreground. So you can see the clear difference between the three. So you've got the foreground here. So let me just put Spider-Man right there. We've got the midground and then the background. Now a background does not have to be a toy or anything like that. It can also be cardboard. You can also put tissue in the back to make a complete white background. Whatever you want to do, sky's the limits. But what we can do, and what we're going to take a look at now, is introducing techniques, introducing new ways or different ways to actually enhance the image, because this is the photo that we're going to take. Now, to enhance that image, back in the days, or not in back in the days, but in general in photography, photographers use this. It's a flash. Actually, just give me one moment. Let me zoom out a little so you can see this better. There we go. So in photography, you often use a flash. Now, a flash it adds light to an image. Now, the thing is, with a flash, it is going to add light, but a flash is expensive. So, and what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to show you how to do things on a little bit more of a cost-effective approach. Because remember, you don't need all the fancy gear. Now let's zoom back in into Captain America. So there we go. We're now zoomed in. In fact, let me zoom out for a second. I want to show you something. So a simple way that I'm going to replicate a flash is actually with a flashlight. So a flashlight allows or adds light. Do you see that? So if I put the light there, it's quite harsh. In fact, let me zoom in. So if I add the light, I can actually add a little bit of an enhancement to Captain America. So I can bring the light from up above. I can bring it from the side. I can bring it from the front. I can even do it from the back. I have to stretch my arm a little. There we go. And the whole idea of the flash, everyone, is it just adds a really nice enhancement to the mood. So you can see right there, I'm just enhancing the mood. Now, to be totally honest with you, when in the world of photography, a lot of photographers like to have the light focusing in a specific area. Now, this flashlight doesn't allow me to do that because it's gonna add light everywhere. It doesn't allow me to just focus it on one specific section. So I've got a little fix for that. This is a cardboard paper that I've rolled up and I've taped, so you can see that right there. And the whole idea is that you put the flashlight in there and it will narrow the beam of light in one section. So let me show you how that looks. And by the way, this little doohickey that I've made is actually so you can buy one of these, And if you buy one of them, like from the stores, it's roughly about $150. I'm not joking. It's about $150. And what this essentially does is allows you to narrow the light. So do you see that? I've got a light source that can be narrowed in, and I can highlight. So you know what, let me zoom in for a moment so you can see what I'm doing. I can highlight specific sections of Captain America. So let's say I just wanted it on his shield. So like that. And that's really cool, right? So the whole idea is you can narrow the beam in specific areas. So that way you don't have to have so much of a light source. You can have a smaller light source, or if you want it wider, just move the flashlight further back. And look at that, look at the effect that it adds. It's pretty cool, isn't it? So we can also take this image to the next level. How? Well, let me grab this and let me zoom out for a moment. So we've got something here which is called a gel. A gel is just a Ziploc bag that I've colored in blue. Now you're probably thinking, why, Pritpal? Why do we need this? Well, a lot of photographers like to enhance the image by changing the color. So I know this isn't really changing the color, but let's zoom in for a moment. If I zoom in and then I put my gel, you can see that I'm actually adding a bit of a filter or a different color to the image. This is what Instagram is known for, these kind of filters, because it changes the look of the image completely, the color balance, the haziness, and so forth. So I made this at home, really simple. You take a Ziploc bag, cut it up, and color it with a marker. Really simple. If you were to buy this from a store, it's roughly about $50. So why not make it yourself? But the one part of photography that I love is I love macro shots. Macro shots is where you get really close and tight to your image, like that. And I can go in even closer. Isn't that so cool? But the really interesting part about macro photography is you can introduce, for example, I'm gonna put my flashlight behind Captain America. Look at that image already. Wow. Now, I'm gonna take it one step further. Sorry, my mat was a little dirty, so let me just clean that up. But I'm gonna take it one step further. I'm gonna introduce water. Now, why? Why water? Well, water enhances the image. So if I zoom out, I've got a water bottle, okay? Now, the whole idea of the water bottle is I want to add a little bit of depth and flair to this image. So I'm going to spray. Look at that. Wow. Now imagine you capture the photo while those droplets of water are coming out. Look at that. That is so cool. And once again, if I get closer, look at that shot. Now you're probably wondering, but Pritpal, what is that flashlight doing? Well, the flashlight is actually making the water glow. So if I take a picture of just without the flashlight, you can't really see the water. You see that? You can only see the water dripping on his helmet, but you can't see the water that I've sprayed in the background. But now if I add the flashlight back in, watch what this does. Hold on one second. Okay. Look at that. Isn't that cool? It's like he's in a storm. Oh my God. But at the same time, water also allows for reflection. So you see that? I'm getting a reflective image of Captain America. In fact, take a look at this. So if I move, oh, sorry about that, guys. If I move my camera a little bit further back, or better yet, let's do this. So right now I'm zoomed in. I'm now gonna go wide angle. So this is a wide angle shot of Captain America. Look at this. And the cool thing about a phone is that you can really play around with the image. You can play around with the angles, and you can see everything in real time. Look at that. I can move my camera around. And guys, one thing I want you to know with photography, you are in control. So you move your camera around, you tell your subject to move. Hey, Captain America, I need you to look over here. There we go. Look at that shot, guys. I am so happy. Let's zoom in. Why? Because I'm gonna move this around once more. Or better yet, what if I come up above? That doesn't work. What if I come further down, like this? That works. I like that shot. Remember, you are in control. So do whatever your heart pleases you. Take the photo that you want, because no one can tell you how to take a photo. And the answer is no, you don't need a high-end camera. You can use any camera you have. It could be a smartphone, whatever you want to use. So what we learned in today's Photography 101 was, number one, we learned a lot about the different types of photography that you can do. So sky's the limit. Remember, there's nothing that can stop you. It's all about your creativity and getting out there, grabbing a camera, taking photos. You can take photos anywhere. You can do it in your house, you can do it in your backyard, you can do it in a park, you can do it when you're on vacation. Doesn't matter where you are, just get out there and take photos. Now, so we learned about what type of photography that you can do. We also looked at the different types of photography gear. Remember, you don't have to have the best of gear. You can use anything. It's a tool at the end of the day. A camera is a tool. And I find some of the best photos that I've actually captured were with my smartphone. So don't feel like you have to invest all that money to buy the best of gear. Second of all, or third, we also learned a lot about the different tools. For example, a flashlight. The flashlight can enhance the image. For example, if I twist myself over, can you see how my face has gone a little bit brighter here, a little bit darker? Those are the shadows and highlights. We'll learn more about that in a moment. Actually, not in today's training. We'll learn about that in the next week's session, because in the next week's session, we'll learn more about natural light. Okay, so we learned about flash today. We learned about if we want to really narrow that light beam, we can use cardboard, roll it up, and stick our flashlight into it, which will give us a concentrated light source. We can also use a spray bottle filled with water, so that way we can enhance the image. But we can also get up. Like, we don't have to stay in one section and take an image from one area. Remember, photography is dynamic. So you are in control of how you want the image to be. If you want to move it up, move it up. If you want to move it down. From the side, whatever makes you feel comfortable, do what's right for you. Okay, that's a wrap for today's training. Thank you all so much for watching. Really happy to have you here, and I will see you next week. Well done, everybody. Keep on smiling, keep on taking photos. Honestly, it's capturing those memories is the most important thing. So keep it up. All the best, everyone.